All right, Math 1, Unit 5A, Section 4, Writing Arithmetic Recursive Formulas. So a recursive formula is a formula that says if you have the first term, this is what you do to get the second term. So like in number 1, we could see pretty quickly that each time we subtract 200. So in a recursive formula, all it's going to do is it's going to say every time you need to subtract 200. Okay, that's what it's going to have embedded in it. Um, there's two parts to a recursive formula. First, you have to say what is the first term. The first term, well, that's -9. Okay. Now we have a special way to talk about um, sequence formulas. Now this will go for recursive and for explicit. We'll get to explicit formulas later on. Um, for these kind of sequences, for these kind of formulas for the sequences, we talk about A sub n. So A, and that's not very pretty, let me rewrite that. A sub n. A is like the term, right? N means the numbered term. So we talked about -9 being the first term. That means that A sub 1 is -9, meaning that the first term is -9. Okay, we could say that A sub 2, well, we look at our formula, is -209. So we could write out a bunch of A sub 1, A sub 2, A sub 3, A sub 4. We could write it out as far as we wanted, but we want something that's a little bit more general. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our A sub 1 as our starting point, and then what we want is an A sub n. That way you could get any term. It's not a specific term. So A sub n means that you could get any term. So we're going to say A sub n equals, we would have the previous term minus 200, right? Anytime you do this, you plug in the previous term, you plug it in right here, and you subtract 200. Now, we have a special way to talk about the previous term also. So if we're talking about A sub n, the term before it would be A sub n minus 1, right? We took 1 away from that n. So in this blank, we're going to put A sub n minus 1. Okay? So our final answer here is actually both the highlighted portions here. If you have a recursive formula, you have to have one of the terms listed. It's normally the first term, right? So right here, we have the first term listed. That starts us off. Then this down here tells us how to get the next term. Well, you take it and you subtract 200 from it. Now, just to talk about this just a little more, if we wanted to find the second term here, now we could just look at the problem, but say we wanted to find the second problem, we'd be looking for A sub 2. This would be A sub 2 minus 1 minus 200. So 2 minus 1, well, that's 1. Right? And we know A sub 1, well, that's -9 minus 200, which gives me -209. So we kind of see how they came up with these things, right? So here's 209, and then we could also look up here, and there's 209. Okay? Now the actual answer to the problem is the highlighted yellow text. Okay, let's go on to number 2. So we could really quickly say, well, A sub 1, well, that's -4, right? That's the first one that's listed. You could actually go through the whole notes packet and just do that. Next up, we need to figure out what are we adding every time. Well, from -4 to 96, that's hard for me to see it, but from 96 to 196, from these two guys, I could see, well, they added 100. I could see that really easily. And if I think a little bit harder, I'd say, well, -4 plus 100 is 96. So all of these are adding 100. So now I need to take the A sub n that I had in number 1, and I need to adopt it into number 2. So I know that I'm going to have A sub n equals a sub n minus 1. This is how it's going to always start off for a recursive formula. And then we're going to add or subtract whatever our common difference is. So this time it's plus 100. And that's it. That's the answer. All right, number 3. Well, a sub 1 is 13. Then we need a sub n. Well, a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1. And then now we need to find our common difference. To get from 13 to 33, we add 20. And again, 20. And again, 20. So this time we're going to be adding 20 every time. All right, number 4. Well, a sub 1, that's going to be 10, right? That should be the easiest part of the problem. And with these being multiple choice problems, you should really quickly be able to eliminate some of the answers. Well, from 10 to 3, we subtract 7. From 3 to negative 4, we subtract 7. And from negative 4 to negative 11, we subtract 7 again. So each time we're subtracting 7, we could really quickly go, well, a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 minus 7. All right, next up, number 5. A sub 1 is 0, right? And each time it looks like we're subtracting 12. Oh, not 12, 6. So we've got a sub n is a sub n minus 1 minus 6. Number 6, our a sub 1 is going to be 3. A sub n is going to be equal to a sub n minus 1. And what are we doing each time? Are we subtracting 9? Yep, we're subtracting 9. Alrighty, last two problems. A sub 1 is going to be 39. Right, that's just our first term. A sub n, well, we know a sub n is going to be equal to a sub n minus 1. And what are we going to be adding each time? We're going to be adding, well, from 39 to 69, we add 30, 30, 30 again. So we're going to be adding 30. Now, I don't know if I said this earlier, but these are called recursive formulas because in order to say you wanted the 10th term, right? So you wanted a sub 10. Well, you would need to know a sub 9, and then you could add 30 to it. These aren't very easy to do because you have to find all of the terms. So especially if you got up in like the hundreds, say we wanted like a sub 100, that would take forever to actually type that into your calculator, adding 30. I don't know how many times. I guess that would be 99 times, right? So this is very useful. It has its uses, the recursive formula does, but later on we will have an explicit formula. And with an explicit formula, you'll be able to find any of them really quickly. But for now, we're just going to stick with recursives. All right. Did I finish that problem? I did. All right, number 8. We're subtracting 8. Oops, that didn't go right. Subtract 8, and I think that's subtracted again. Yeah. So a sub 1 is 10, because that's our first term. A sub n is a sub n minus 1 minus 8. Alrighty, that's it.